Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again here on MorningLine. My name is Chris Conte and Dr. Thomas Schwartz is joining me here from Vanderbilt this morning. We are talking all things politics for the entire hour of MorningLine. Again, we want to ask folks to call in. Specifically, if you've been impacted in any way by the government shutdown, the number is 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-PLUS. A lot of people calling in, obviously, because this is it's a hot button topic, and it's also a topic that's been impacting a lot of people.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's had wide-ranging national effects. So many of the employees are not in Washington itself, but around the country.
And here in Tennessee.
And here in Tennessee, yeah.
Let's get right to some of these calls here. Paul, I believe, is on line one. Paul, where are you calling from?
Franklin, Tennessee.
From Franklin, Tennessee. And are you impacted by the shutdown at all, or?
No, I'm not impacted by the shutdown. I am a sergeant in corrections, so a lot of my fellow federal correctional officers are impacted by it, but I just wanted to call in and voice my opinion about the president that we have.
And go ahead, speak, if you would mind keeping your comments maybe tailored to the wall, because I feel, or to this shutdown, because I feel like we could go in a lot of directions here.
Well, Ken, I got you on that. I had called and talked to the professor before on the show. He's a very knowledgeable person. Look, as far as the wall, that was a fear-mongering tool that this president used to get elected. I mean, we have to look at it. You know, political science is a major in college, and years from now, Mr. Conte, they will still be looking at this election. Because this is a crazy anomaly that happened. This man got in, and he seen that fear-mongering to his extreme right would get him elected. All right, but also the hatred of Hillary Clinton on the Republican side also helped him get the moderate vote. That is what got him elected. The extreme right fear-mongering that he does against immigrants and stuff like that, and the hatred of Hillary Clinton to the moderate base is what got this man elected. Now Hillary Clinton is out of the picture, and he's still fear-mongering about immigrants is coming up, and it is a national emergency at the border, and yada yada yada. 30% of his base is always going to support him. I don't care what he does. He has absolutely kept lying to these people, and now it's blatantly that he's lying, and then he'll change his story and they'll believe that. I mean, it is bizarre, his base, how the extreme right, how he absolutely controls them. He controls it. I feel sad for him. I really do.
So, Paul, let me ask you this. Paul, do you think that he gives in first here on this shutdown, or do you think the Democrats do?
I think.
Or who do you think should give in first here?
I think Trump will give in first. I think Chuck Schumer and him has him locked down, because he actually said that he's going to own this. He said it. Now he's trying to switch it again, and his base is buying it that he didn't mean that, but he said that this is his. And look here, he is holding 800,000 people hostage over a wall. Do you understand that? Over a wall, and it's not a national security. And now to finish my point, now I see now that since Hillary Clinton's out of the picture, the moderate Democrats, the middle-of-the-road Democrats, the Republicans, the middle-of-the-road Republicans are seeing what a mistake this country has made, and I think it's eroding his support in the middle of the party, and I think that he won't get elected again in 2020 if he don't get impeached, which I think collusion. I think he did collude, but we'll see.
Paul, thank you. That gives us a lot to dissect there. Let's just maybe first talk about his second to last point there, which was, is this the event that starts to maybe swing some of these moderates one way or the other, this shutdown?
I'm not so sure on that. It's not as if there's any sort of major, the public opinion polls do not indicate a major erosion in Trump's Republican support yet. Could it happen if you had some continuing stories about chaos at the airports, food not being inspected and leading to outbreaks of disease or something like that? Yes, I mean events could have a role, but I don't see it yet happening that the moderate or that there's any real challenge within the Republican Party. And so as long as his base remains firm, the president might be able to sustain this shutdown for quite some time.
Yeah. Paul brought up the Russia investigation there. I think maybe we'll save that for a minute. Okay. Because I feel like we'll get down a rabbit hole if we start talking about that, and maybe we'll try to keep things tailored to the shutdown and the wall for the moment, and we'll kind of maybe circle back around towards the end of the show. Cindy has been waiting for a while on line 2. Cindy, good morning. Where are you calling from?
Smyrna, Tennessee.
Smyrna, Tennessee. Just a lovely place this time of year. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. Any chance that you're being impacted by the shutdown, or are you just calling to talk about it?
No, I called to talk about 2 subjects.
Okay.
One, it don't bother me at all about the government shutdown. For the fact is, I don't work for the government, and it's about damn time they've learned what it's like when you're laid off a job, you're starving, and this and that and the other. When you get a starving, okay, it's about damn time that they learned that we mean business. And we want that damn wall. Okay, we want that wall. I want it built. I've been saying this forever. I put up with past presidents and leaders who said they're not going to do it. Well, Trump said he's going to do it. Well, it ain't all about Trump. It's about what the American people want. We want that wall.
Cindy, I'm curious.
I'm tired when I hear someone say, oh, I was coming to America for an opportunity, but I would not. I heard this morning, and then I had some friends of mine listen at it when they re-showed it again. He said, I won't work in no goddamn restaurant. I want opportunity, number one opportunity. Well, let me tell you something. Your first opportunity is for me, who've been a waitress, a bartender, and a factory worker. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. So don't hand me this. When your opportunity is, you get the knowledge. And when you know your knowledge, especially in a restaurant or bar, by God, you'll end up buying one just like me and my mama did years ago. Thank you.
Cindy, I appreciate your passion there. I have a question for you. You still there?
Yeah.
So my question is, how is it that the wall will directly impact your life in Smyrna, Tennessee?
Well, for one thing, I won't have my son getting any pot from some Mexicans that have been bringing it over to him. I'm sick and tired of it, and I told him don't smoke that crap.
I feel like we're going down a rabbit hole there. Yep. But you can understand the passion that a lot of folks have. I mean, and this is really, I think, speaks to why there hasn't been a compromise here, right?
Absolutely. No, I think you know, Donald Trump got elected, and, you know, as the first caller said, by fear-mongering, the second caller said by promising to build a wall. I mean, those are that thing. But it's not just Trump, it is also the issues that connected people with him, and immigration and the wall, and as you could see, the second caller referring to the idea that, you know, drugs coming across the border, this fear of what's happening at the border, and that somehow the wall will do that. Now, you know, most analysts would say that probably won't stop it. Most of the marijuana they can get from other places, it's legal in a lot of states, right. It's very available, but this is the situation we live in, and this is, I think, also the symbolism of the shutdown is such that neither side wants to give on this because of the fear of what it would look like.
Well, and I think too, there's also just there's a lot of disinformation floating around, like you said, with you know, numbers last week. They were talking about the number of illegal immigrants that came over the border last year, and you know, from the White House, we're hearing some numbers saying that, you know, thousands of them committed crimes or you know, did horrible acts, and then from, you know, the State Department, we're getting, you know, maybe it was like 60 or less than that. So really, and at this point, it's just come down to people kind of seem to be latching on to whatever information they they feel like will either bolster their side or that they agree with.
There is a larger, I think there's a larger issue here that I think historians eventually looking back at this time will comment on, and that is the nature of America's attitudes toward immigration at this period, and what immigration and national identity and the fears of being sort of changed by large-scale immigration from Latin America.
Yeah. I believe we have Joe on line 3. Joe, where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Where are you calling from, Joe?
I'm calling from Nashville.
From Nashville. You impacted by the shutdown at all, or you're just calling to talk about it a little bit?
No, I'm not impacted by the shutdown. I'm retired.
Okay.
I can just make a comment.
Sure.
Mr. Trump, he likes to use the word fake news. Well, if you want to hear some fake news, just listen to what comes out of his mouth. I mean, you know, when he was running for office, the wall was going to be built by Mexico. Now he's done switched to he's going to go a different direction, but Mexico's going to pay for it. And anybody believes in that believes that Santa Claus is coming at Christmas. So this guy is a master at misdirection. If it's not Korea, it's China. If it's not China, it's Syria. If it's not Syria, it's the wall. This guy is so far out there. He's going to go down in history as being one of the biggest jokes that the American public have ever elected.
Joe, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. To speak to Joe's point there, the president is a fantastic showman. I mean, he knows if he's not in the headlines, he knows how to change that really quickly.
Yeah. No, that's the secret. Those of us who underestimated him back in 2015 learned very quickly that he knew how to dominate the media, dominate the headlines. And certainly, you know, the caller brings up the good point that, of course, the president promised Mexico would pay for the wall, and now that's sort of, he's changed that tune, and now it's this question of just getting the wall and dealing with the Democratic Congress. So it is an extraordinary development, and this was one of the reasons. I mean, Donald Trump came out of the media, came out of the reality show TV phenomenon, and has managed to turn that into a very successful franchise.
Well, and even, you know, last week he started backpedaling on the term wall itself. Right? I mean, he, you know, instead of maybe calling it a wall, calling it a barrier or some other terminology, essentially be the same thing, but you know, maybe hoping politically there, if he called it something else instead of the wall, he might have some better chance with some of the Democrats.
Yes.
What do you think, you know, had the Democrats not won the House, would we be in this position right now? Would we be on day 25 of the government shutdown?
I doubt it, because essentially the president should have been able then to get enough votes for some type of border wall. It's interesting, of course, that he didn't do this during the time the Republicans had that.
I was thinking about that too. Why not, you know, jam this down the throat of Republicans in Congress earlier before, you know, you either lost control or it was looking like you were going to lose control?
You know, if you're a believer that, you know, this is all part of a master plan, which is hard to always believe with Donald Trump because he's so impulsive, you might think that one of the reasons he's doing this is to mobilize his base and to set up an issue for 2020 and to be able to campaign on it again.
Right. We have a number of folks who are still calling in. We are still tailoring our conversation here with Dr. Schwartz from Vanderbilt, talking about the furlough or the shutdown and the wall and kind of its impacts on Tennesseans and Americans, about 900,000 workers who aren't being paid right now. Number of folks calling in. The number, if you want to talk to us here, 615. I don't know why I keep saying that. 615. It's my old area code in Boston.
It's your Boston area code, yes.
615-737+. 615-737+. We are going to take a quick break. We'll get to more calls as soon as we come back.